This meeting is being recorded.
Hello,
Hey, hello.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. So, hi, I'll be your mock interview for the day. So I wanted to first like check with you. So, which round are you currently interviewing for?
So this is for the data scientist role at Meta only. For the on-site round, wherein they have like some SQL questions, and then they will have like some case study that happens. So that's the kind of round I'm interviewing for.
Okay, got it. So you're interviewing for the on-site round. So on-site round typically has like four specific rounds, which I guess your recruiter must have already told you about. So, but today for today's session, you would like to focus on SQL and any and a case study question. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I think that's the one I want to focus now. So SQL was I actually use SQL uh, like pretty often, but I still kind of wanted to understand what I can expect for this round. And the other part is a case study. I have read something online, but not exactly sure what kind of is the kind of stuff to expect in like like for Facebook. So that's kind of what I wanted to just kind of understand these two things.
Okay, got it. That makes sense. So let me actually start with some SQL questions so that we cover that first, and then after that I'll probably ask you a case study question about data interpretation. If that's okay. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure. So SQL and then case study. Cool. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good.
Okay, so let me actually send you a Google Docs link, and probably you can share that screen with me, and then we
Okay.
can collaborate on that if that works.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
Yep. So 1 second, let me just create a document. So there you go. I've sent you the link. Let me know if you got it. Let me know if you're able to open it.
I am on the link. So let me just share my screen as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yep.
Cool.
I can
Okay.
see, I can see the screen. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. So before we start off, like, I mean, I'm not gonna share. I mean, so data I'm gonna share is more around streaming data for now, but the questions would be pretty similar in your actual interview as well. But I won't be sharing any proprietary questions or anything because of ethical reasons. But just wanted to uh, clear that as well. But the pattern of the questions and the expectations from the questions would be pretty similar. So you have two. Having said that, so you have two tables over here,
Okay.
and this is entirely. Imagine this is like Netflix data.
Okay.
So you have playback date, stream ID, device ID, device category, customer ID, and minutes streamed over there. And then you also have buffer count and customer country. And then the second table, which I mean, for now we'll just use the first table. So my first question to you would be, what is so first question over here, what is the monthly average of streams from US in 2017? So uh, yeah, uh, let me know if you need
Okay.
have any questions over here.
Yeah. So basically, we have this table called stream, or this is a playback table, and the primary key is stream ID. And then what we have is the date, the ID, device category, customer ID, minutes streamed, buffer count, and then the country of the customer. Okay, that makes sense. So now we need a monthly average number of streams from US in 2017. Okay, cool. The question makes sense. So let me. Uh, I'll assume the table to be playback. Mm, uh, and US. So basically, I'm putting the filters first, and then I'll try to aggregate it. So I'm just assuming like a function called month. Like sometimes you can probably use extract or something. But I'm just like assuming it. Is that fine or?
Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. We are not looking for like syntactical accuracy. So as long as you know what you're doing, it should be good.
Okay. And the stream ID is okay. That's the prime table. So I would assume that's. So I have. Yeah, I think this should. Or you said average.
Yeah. So think of it like a, I mean, we're not looking for like monthly streams. So think about like what if you had to provide one number for monthly
Right.
average number of streams, how do you go about it?
Ah, I see. I see. Um. Okay. Well, I guess there can be some other ways to do it as well, but the one that's most intuitive to me right now is just this one. If that makes sense.
Yep. This looks good to me. So
Okay.
you are kind of like calculating the stream count in every month, and then you're figuring out the average value at the end. So this is exactly what we need. Yeah, that looks good.
Would
Uh,
you, just for my like curiosity, would you do this some other way, or this is how you would also do it?
I would probably not add fill. I mean, I think this looks correct to me. Like there's
Okay.
no other I would be doing it.
Okay.
So my next question now would be, so one second. So next question here is this. So you have to write a query identifying year over year change in number of streamers for US for the month of January between. So it's basically year over year change.
So year of year YOY change in number of streamers, so number of customers rather who have streamed uh, from 18 to 17.
Yep.
Okay. Um, so total number of unique streamers in each month, and then comparison of that. Okay. I try to copy some of the code from above.
Yep. Yep.
So this is now customer ID.
So I would make one modification to the question. Sorry, I'll just, instead of 2017 to 2018, I just want it, for all of the years. Does that make sense?
So YY comparison for the whole year 18 versus 17.
Yeah, instead of 27 to 2018, I want it like for all the years. So it should be 2018, 2019 as well, 2019, 2020 as well. Like if you can give me
Oh, I
a
see.
table, yep, with year over year change for all of these years for the month of Jan, that's what I require. Yeah.
Oh, so basically for the month of Jan, you want it for these
Year over year, yes, for every year, yes.
for every year. Okay.
Yep, yep.
Got it. Okay. So let's do this then. Mm, okay. So 2017 to 2020. So there are, think two is two. So yeah, and then each year. So so in the final year, you would want it YY with the previous year, and then in the so basically you will have three numbers, three YYs, right? 20 to 18 YY, and then 20 to 19 YY, 19 to 18 YY, 18 to 17 YY.
Yep, yep.
Those are the three numbers you want.
Yep. I want it for every year basically, if that makes it easier to
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. So I think how to go about it would be we take okay. Let's see this. So then this is what the one for 17. And let's say I think there are two ways to go about it. I'll just go with the one that's intuitive right now. Mm, so basically, I'm trying to create like multiple subqueries, and then I'll try to do like a join finally to compare all of them.
Yeah, that approach is good, but can you think of an approach where you don't use multiple subqueries?
Um, yeah. So uh, if I don't use multiple subqueries, um, I what
I
I
mean, I'm not saying this is incorrect or anything. I just want the you can think of a more efficient way to do it.
yeah. So I think I can also probably just use one query and just pull the numbers for each of the Januaries only, and then for YOY, uh, it can be like a self join, I think, or something like that. That I can try that.
Can
Probably.
you think of a function which can do that
Um,
in the code
I think
itself?
the
Like,
yeah, I think
yep,
the lead lag function can be helpful here. I think.
yep, yep. I think you're on the right track over there.
Yeah, I just am not as familiar with that function, but I can try to kind of pull that
Yep.
information.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
said, we're just looking for the logic. So, I mean, see, syntactically, I mean, we have some leeway over there, but as long as the logic looks good within the function, should be fine.
Okay. So here's what I'll do. Uh, so mm, so basically, what I have right now is for each of the years. So I have the customer counts in just in the month of January for US. So now the second part is to create a, kind of a lead lag function, or uh, to for the comparison. Uh, mm, Trying to think. I actually can't remember the function, so I might just go ahead with the self join and do it. Because it is
Yeah,
frankly.
that, that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, self join is also a valid approach. I can tell you about the function later on. I think that should be fine. I mean, we do keep in mind this is a mock interview, so I think it
I
should be.
mean, yeah, that's a good that's a good point, because
Yeah.
the point is to. So that year, and then um, so I have the customer ID only for month of January for 17, 18, 19, 20, and then this I joined it on this, so 20, 21, so 2020, 2019, 18, 17, and then uh, 18, 17, A upon B. Yeah, I think this should give you, I think, the year and then the YY growth in each of these months as a
Yep.
ratio.
I think the logic seems fine. I think you're missing a group by in your code. Can you check
All
that?
right. All right. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a minor point, but yeah, always good to
Yeah.
have your
Uh,
group by.
okay. So, okay, I think that takes care of that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then, yeah, okay.
Yep. This looks good to me. I mean, uh, of course, like I wouldn't have preferred this method. I would have used the lag function over there just
Hmm.
to, basically get. So what I would have done is kind of like I would have used the same query as you, like over here, but over here I would have basically use this as a subquery, and I would have built another function on top, uh, year, count, and lag function over there. So lag, basically the cx, the count, over order by yeah over basically partition by your uh, uh, I think order by would be your year. Yep, order by year, and descending I'll do that to get the previous customer count for the previous year, and then I'll basically use these two values to figure out the year over year change. But I think both approaches work. This also works.
No, I think that lag function, I just don't remember the format of it, so which is why I didn't use it. But yeah,
Yep, yep,
that's probably spend some time on it before the interview. That's a good point.
yep. I think like sometimes, I mean, in most cases it should work, but sometimes the interviewers are looking for something they are familiar with. So it's always good to know like multiple approaches to do a single thing, if that makes sense.
True, true. No, it does. It makes sense. There's definitely. I think I can probably get some more. If there are some more points for efficiency, that is definitely a more time saving approach. So I would prefer that myself. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I'll just cover the, you know, like we have two more questions. So I'll just cover the third question that we have. So
Okay.
question to you is, uh, can a customer or a streamer belong to two different countries in this table? If yes, uh, can you identify those customers? And if no, why do you think that's the case?
So can a customer be a part of two different countries?
Yep.
Okay.
So can a
Uh,
customer like appear in two countries in this table?
is okay. So I mean, I guess from a business sense, uh, if somebody were to, I guess, hypothetically change their country or use a VPN, I guess they can come in different countries probably. Um,
Yes, that's
I
correct.
don't know if that's always the case, but yeah, I guess they could. And if I were to identify it from uh,
Can you
playback,
think of some more reasons why uh, where this case might happen?
so when a customer has different countries associated with them, um,
Yep.
uh, so people, so let's see, people stream. So a lot of streams like are not, a lot of I think content is not available in all countries. So which is that people create sometimes like either they use VPN or they use some other techniques to like just use a like make a stream available in their own home country. So that is probably one reason. And um somebody could also be probably be traveling, like if a customer is themselves traveling a lot, I guess they could be in different countries. They can have different country IDs associated with where they're watching it. um and it can also be, um trying to think um if a customer
Yep.
that is
You're on
watching.
the right path. Like, yeah, of course, VPN is one use where this might happen, but may like customers also traveling, like they could be a US customer initially, but they could have traveled to, Europe or something, and then
Yeah.
that's how they would be appearing in multiple countries. And also sometimes customers also share accounts. So there'll be one
Oh yeah. True.
customer ID, but they'll be sharing it with the account with someone in another country. So that's another case where this might appear.
Oh yeah.
So I
That's
mean,
true.
yeah, it's just like good to kind sometimes like interviewers might ask you like some questions about what you might think the data looks like. So yeah, I mean, you can probably think about the different cases over there where that might occur.
Okay. No, I
But
think
yeah,
yeah,
sorry, I
this
didn't
is,
get you.
No, I was just saying yeah, this is helpful. Like I didn't think of these things. Like probably it's a good idea to think about the business before getting into the sequel.
Yep, yep. So so yeah, I mean, now that we established that a customer can appear for two countries in this table, can you identify all of these customers? Who are the
Um,
customers?
okay. So customer country. So we have basically we'll identify all the customers that have a uh, country have how many country are associated with each customer, and then just to having country greater than equal to 2. So this should basically filter uh, all customers that are present in uh, multiple countries.
Yep. That sounds good to me. I'll just get to the final question in the sequel round.
Okay.
So next question is, uh, yeah. So identify the top three countries with the most number of streaming hours per customer.
So top three countries with the most streaming hours per customer.
Yep.
Okay.
So another way to think about it, like, what are the countries uh, where an active customer consumes the most content?
Okay. So then the metric we are looking for is number of hours per customer. Is that
Yep.
number of, I see. Um, so we have minutes streamed as a column. Okay. So country, comma, some. Top three countries with most number of hours per customer. Some well, if you want to do it by hours, I can do this too, I guess. Hours per CX. So now we have for each country what is the total number of hours per customer, and then we order it by two descending. So now and then we can just uh, either select top three, or you can even limit. I guess that's probably a better way. Limit three.
Can can you tell me about a drawback of limit?
Um, I guess it randomly chooses it, not like uh, it won't really be always efficient. It should first pulls the whole data, so it will run the whole query, and then it will start to limit the data. And I think uh, its limit is
So so let's
random.
say like we run this query and we want to put the results of this query in another, you know, in another table. So would limit be of much help over there? Like would we get the desired results in that new table if we just run this query and put the results over there?
Uh, I think probably not. I think I think either I can either use top three or make another subquery outside. But
Um, can you think of a probably a better approach, like instead of using limit?
uh, so then I
Like
think
the
yeah,
question asks you to like rank top three. What
yeah,
if I ask you, give me ranks 2 to 4
yeah.
from instead of top three, I want ranks 2 to 4.
I think I'll probably have to use I think like row number or something. So and then I don't even need to use order then I think. Or right. I think another thing is missing is sorry. Over ordered by sorry, let's see.
would the would do you
Yeah, it
think
won't
window
really.
would work with group by?
Yeah, it won't really work. So I need to make it in the outside query, I think.
Yep.
Uh, here dot star comma this, and I think now the problem would be, no, this would work, but the rank won't work here right now. So I mean
Yep.
the weight clause won't work. So there's
Yep.
no sub query. Would be this would work, I think now.
Yes, this looks good to me. Yep, this would work. This is also probably more efficient way to run this as opposed to limit. But yeah, this looks good. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, good questions. It's been a while since I've done such prep, so it's good to kind of
Yep,
get on
yep.
with it.
Yeah, so over there also, like in your actual interview, they would probably ask you to one to direct questions. They would probably then ask you to probably get your interpretation of what's happening in the data. Probably see if you can figure out some reasoning and investigate into it further. And finally, in most cases, there'll also be a question around rank function or row number function as well. So yeah, I think the SQL level would be similar to these questions only. So yeah, we can probably stop sharing the screen now and move towards the data interpretation question.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So yeah, the case study question I would like to ask you is, let's say you are a data scientist and you meet uh, with a product manager who's handling the, let's say, the friend request team,
Okay,
and the product manager notices that the number of friend requests that have been sent out in January is pretty low, and the product manager wants you to look. They basically tell you that this is low. Can you know investigate further into this and figure out what is causing this? So how do you go about doing that?
okay. So, like, kind of before I go into this, just to kind of understand the question better. So, uh, the product manager of the Friends team has kind of come up and said that Friends requests sent, so total number of just Friends requests sent just on the Facebook platform, uh, that in the month of January is low. Is that the question? Like the overall?
Yes, it is low. Yep,
Okay.
that's the question, and they want you to investigate further into this.
Okay, cool. So here's kind of what I think here the kind of steps I want to take. First of all, like I'll probably get some clarifications around the question, around like uh, some details around the question, so that the problem is exactly clear. I think then I'll try to list out probably all the ways that is possible, and then maybe focus on the few most likely ones. And then towards the end, I think maybe can talk about some ways of solving it, or maybe making sure whatever the cause is, it doesn't happen again, or maybe uh, uh, making sure this thing improves in the future, maybe something like that, like some prescriptive ideas. So that's kind of my approach here. So does it make sense?
Yeah, I mean the approach makes sense, but you can go ahead with the first point which you talked about. You wanted, I guess you wanted some clarifications, right?
Yeah. So when we say low, like what's the benchmark here, and how long are we, like since when are we seeing this drop?
So let's say the friend requests dropped by, so product manager saw the dashboard, and then they saw that the month over month change in friend requests was around 3%.
Okay. So, uh, so in the month of 20, so in the year of 2021, oh wait, month over month. So for Jan we are seeing this low. So Jan compared to December 20, so for Jan 2022 compared to December 2021, we are seeing 3% drop in
Yep.
friends percent.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. And is there a sense on like how much typically this like how much was this drop last year, like 2020 to 2021 or 19 to 20? Like, do we have a sense of that? Like, I just want to compare it to those to kind of see if this is seasonal or not.
Yep, we do have a sense over there, and so last year over year is around is around 0.2% change drop,
Okay.
negative 0.2%.
So that's definitely lower for this year. And
But I would also like just pause here for a bit, and I think like for your clarification questions, you're on the right path. But you could also talk about, okay, which geographies is this are we talking about?
yeah, yeah,
Which,
yeah, yeah.
like, are we talking about, like like with geographies,
Yeah, the
and some
demographics and all.
clarification questions you would want to ask, like, about the scope of the problem. I think
Yeah,
that'll also be.
I was going to get into that later, but I think maybe that's probably a good idea to just start up
Yep,
front as well.
yep.
Okay. Uh, so so let's say and actually so and actually on that note, so yeah, I would like to basically cut the data and kind of see it by various kind of geographies and demographic data. So like, is this concentrated? Is this drop concentrated into a specific area, or is there a specific like user demographic that we are seeing this kind of drop from? In the sense, like people in specific age groups, or by various like engagement levels, like long time like daily users, or like people who are like, let's say, infrequent users. So which kind of user cohort we seeing this drop from? So I'd like to cut the data and kind of see, also by like, I think the kind of device that we're seeing this drop from. Is it mostly iOS, Android, web? Where are we seeing this drop? And would also kind of like to maybe uh, cut this, let's say, so like obviously user demographics like gender, age group, I think all that would also be helpful insights to kind of narrow this down in a sense of what exactly might be causing this thing to kind of happen. That's kind of, I think, my approach.
Okay. I mean, that does sound good to me, but I think you were talking about like looking at seasonal things first, right? So can you elaborate more on that? Like, what
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
seasonal
actually,
things?
yeah. So let's say you. Actually, I was about to ask. So you said 3% December to January. I was also wanting to know what is the trend in the previous month. So like November to December, October to November. How has this trend been? So we see 3% for this month compared to last, but how has this trend in general been?
So the trend has been kind of, uh, I mean, so I won't provide you like hypothetical data, but I just want to know more about your approach towards
Okay,
how
okay, okay.
you would look at it. Like, I mean, it's a hypothetical question, but yeah,
Yeah,
like over in your actual interview as well, like they won't provide you any hypothetical data. Like,
I
it's more about to check, okay, like can you think about, like, different cases as to like what might be going on with the data? How would
yeah.
you investigate into like these different things? So I would like you to elaborate more on that.
I see what you mean. So yeah, so basically, so when I was talking about seasonality, I was basically saying that uh, I would like to look at in general the trend. Like, has this been a gradual trend like this 3%? Is this been like something that has been, let's say, maybe was around 2.5 or like maybe 2.8 for the past couple of months, and now it is 3, or it has been like consistently like this point 2. It has been consistently low for a while, and then suddenly it has kind of sprung up, or maybe it has been 3% the whole time actually, and now it all says so. Then that's a different problem. So basically, that kind of helps us identify where exactly is the problem. If it's something which is gradual, then that's probably a larger problem that maybe people are leaving uh, the Facebook app and going to some other like maybe just like that's probably a longer larger disengagement problem, as opposed to if it just happened during the month of January, that could be something more endemic and more localized and probably needs more deep dive than either way. So that was kind of my kind of rationale on trying to find the seasonality aspect of it.
Yep, I think this you touched upon the seasonality aspect well. Like you want to see, okay, like okay, December to January is this is a drop, but is this the case last year as well? And also what was last year's, month over month between December to Jan. That'll give you an idea. Okay, like was this month over month drop seen last year as well? So I mean seasonality is a good point. Like
Yeah,
let's put that aside for now, and
yeah,
I want to like ask you like what. So I mean the metric product manager is looking at is number of friend requests.
yeah.
But can you think about like some other metrics the product manager should be looking at to look to get a like a better idea of the entire the ecosystem of their product?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think so that's kind of a good point. So that kind of segues into looking at a lot of like additional data as well. So right now this is just one metric that we're looking at. Also, I think to kind of paste the story together is important to look at uh, uh, like what has happened with other metrics, right? So like overall app usage, like total number of monthly active users, like weekly active users, uh, total number of people who let's say like log in as well, and number of new users that kind of join, or our churn rate. So these kind of things we kind of help us identify if is is there something specific to the just the friends request product, or this is something that is larger and is happening to all of Facebook as well. So that's kind of one thing I would like to check. Also, I think because this is friend request sent and that is dropping, and what might be also happening, I would like to check is the friend accepted, is that metric also changing or not,
Okay,
cause uh, that can probably maybe the acceptance rate is now increasing, which means people are simply being more targeted, and that could also mean that we have probably done a lot of maybe spam reduction and stuff like that. That could probably mean that. So I think just some idea around uh, these all these metrics, and will kind of probably lead us closer, if not exactly identify uh, the cause of the drop. And so that's one thing. uh, Another thing which I was thinking which might be separate is around like product upgrades, and which is kind of something I will work with the product manager naturally. Is that if this is something that is sudden and not gradual, maybe there have been a lot of upgrades and changes in the product, the friends request or the friends product itself, that is kind of leading to this kind of an disengagement. So that's something I can probably work with the product manager to kind of understand their point on that.
got it, got it. I think you touched upon some good points over there, like especially let's say the friend requests, like let's say the friend accepted
Yeah.
accept have not dropped at the same rate of you know decrease in friend request sent.
Okay.
So what could be some of the things behind it?
Okay. Okay. So basically, you're saying friends accepted has, so, or rather, the acceptance rate, let's say if that is a metric, like total number of requests a person accepts as a ratio of all the requests they get, that ratio hasn't really dropped.
No,
Uh,
I'm not talking about the ratio as such. I'm talking about the total volume. So
oh,
total
right.
volume, yep. Total volume of friend requests accepted has not dropped, but total number of friend requests has dropped.
Oh, hash. Oh, I see. I see.
Yep, yep.
Actually, on that note, that probably leads me to two other important metrics. So, like, if this friend request, the total number of friend requests that has dropped, is that how does that relate to per user? Like, is
Yep.
that total number of requests sent per user is dropping, or it just could be like, more people itself are less on the platform. So so that I think also, so basically number of friend requests per user sent, like, is that metric dropping, or is just like total number of user itself is dropping? That can also probably think help us kind of pinpoint this thing better. And even for the accepted thing, so total number of friends accepted hasn't dropped, but like that is also, I think, a function of total number of friends requests accepted per user, and total number of users that get these requests. So which of these two have kind of dropped? That can be helpful to kind of, I think, localize the impact. But other, like, if that's not the case, so if total number of friend requests are, let's say, dropping, and total number of friends requests accepted have not really dropped, uh, that means either they are stable, I guess. So let's, you said they're not dropped, so they could be stable or they could be increasing. uh, uh, but um, so this is month over month. So compared to last month, people have sent less requests, but the same number has been accepted. So I think that probably leads me to believe a little that uh, maybe the um, maybe a lot of people earlier were sending requests to either random people or were just kind of spamming, and they weren't anyway being accepted. So which is now, if there has been something which, let's say, Facebook has done something to kind of promote that you can't really, send a friend request to anybody. A lot of people start locking their profiles. A lot of people make that feature unavailable, that anyone can add you as a friend. So maybe if more people have started doing that, and Facebook is promoting for security reasons, then that would be one way to kind of explain that, that people are being more selective now, or if there is a limit on the number of people you can, add as friend or send a request to within a time frame, let's say a month. So that might explain something like this. If requests are dropping but accepted are still the same, that means you are only sending a request to people who are actually your friends, who you actually know, and not just like, a lot of random strangers, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I think you have touched upon like all fair points. Like I can give you my feedback on like how to approach like metric drop
Okay.
problems or investigations. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
like first, like usually the question would be around like one single metric around a product. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it would be a good way, good like one good approach would be to figure out what are some of the other metrics that could be coupled with this particular metric to understand like what's going on in the product.
Mm-hmm.
So the question here was like like friend request dropped. So it could also be a function of like just the case that monthly active customers itself dropped like from December to January. So because the user base itself dropped, the number of requests also dropped. So why you could you look at that particular metric to see as well, to see like what's going on, and then probably uh, create like a composite metric. Okay, number of friend requests per active user, and see like how that metric is behaving from December to January. But even yeah, so once you figure out these other metrics, the other metric was, which you touched upon, was the number of like friend requests accepted. That's a very important metric. Sorry, number of friend requests sent. Sorry, that's a very important metric as well. And now you have like these 2-3 additional metrics you want to look at. Now you can understand like what's happening seasonally. So was this thing like how did these metrics change year over year? uh, did did we also see a similar drop last year as well,
Mm-hmm.
from December to January? And also you could now like deep dive into different cuts or different segments over there, like by geographies, by like cohorts, like you mentioned, uh, based on user activity, by demographics, like all that you could look at to figure out, okay, where exactly is this drop occurring. And So now that you've looked at this seasonally, so there are two things could happen. Like either this happened last year as well, or this didn't happen last year as well, and this is just happening only like from December to January this year. So let's talk about the second case which I mentioned. Like let's like assuming that this didn't happen last year. So one possible reason that the drop is happening is that suddenly, like you mentioned, uh, people are no longer sending, people are no longer getting spam friend requests.
Yeah.
So uh, which is a good thing, and that is also reflected in the number of friend requests accepted. So
Yeah.
that actually didn't go down, but number of friend requests sent did go down. So that means that like one possible explanation is, okay, like the spam friend requests have decreased by quite a bit, and which is a good thing. Second, second possible case over here is that, okay, both your friend request dipped and also friend accepted number dipped. So that could be possibly be explained by like some kind of a new feature launch or product launch,
Yeah.
or like some like test or maybe some kind of like experiment was being run during that time which caused this dip. So that those are some of the things you could possibly investigate into and you can mention that in the interview as well. So yeah, these are some of the things that you should probably talk about in your interview as well. And and going back to the, like, let's say seasonally, like uh, there was no drop, so that makes things easier for us. So I mean, if this was the uh, occurring theme last year as well, you could probably then deep dive into like why this occurred last year. But yeah, you basically have to create like a framework over here. Okay, if this dipped this year, what might be the cases, what might be the different explanations for it, and if seasonally this was not seen, then what might be the different explanation are. So you have to build a certain framework and like ensure the interviewer understands that particular framework. If I make sense.
Oh, no, I think it definitely does. I think, yeah, no, these are like, I mean, thanks. Like, these are actually very good points. I didn't, I guess, think about probably all of these, especially around, I think, these related metrics that I think uh, uh, I think probably can help localize the answer kind of easily. So just to kind of understand, so the interviewer, they are looking basically for such kind of a scenario. Are they looking for let's say me to like read the actual answer, or but it's more about the approach, that just like understanding what I look at, or they want to eventually reach a point where I say, oh yeah, this is actually what caused the drop.
They are more looking towards like whether you can structure your answer in a certain way uh, which resembles like a framework. So they're looking for uh, they're looking for signals basically that you follow a structured approach to problem solving, and it's not like entirely some random investigations you're doing. So there has to be a proper structure to the answer. I mean, you don't need to know the every point over here, but
Hmm.
they must get the idea that you're at least willing to like explore different explanations for a particular thing happening, and you're looking at a holistic point of view. You're not just limiting yourself to, okay, just friend request. You're also looking at Facebook ecosystem, like what's happening over there. You're looking at what happened last year. You're looking at like different cuts. You're trying to understand whether, oh, is there any new feature product launch. Is this like a positive outcome or not? So those are the kind of things they're looking for.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. Uh, so Uh, okay. So basically, whenever like if for such a case study, we just kind of start out by giving out a structure and trying to stick to that framework, which is like I mean we discussed a lot of points, and but it's kind of the framework that's more important. So, there, so that's I think something that I guess
Yep.
I've not been doing it as much. I kind of just kind of jump into things, but
Now, I think you did pretty well, like in the if in this particular interview round, like I think yeah, just kind of like practice a few more, questions around probably metric drops. So just like imagine any product you're using. Okay, like let's say like Netflix. Just imagine you're the data scientist in Netflix, and like there is a case. Okay, like, oh, number of streams dropped from January to December. Like how what potential things could you look at over there, and what might be causing it? So just just develop that, like, product sense, and I think you should be good to go.
okay, okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. Uh, yeah, I think need a couple of more mocks because I think this is probably one of the case studies, and think we need I probably need a few more. But anyways, I mean, yeah, thanks a lot for your time. I think we are pretty much at time. So yeah, thanks a lot, and for both the kind of the skill prep and the case study. I think I kind of have a few areas of improvement. So, uh, so basically, the session is I should just practice a couple of these things more, and my onsite is like in like 3 weeks, and that is fine. That is enough prep time for me, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I
Okay.
think if you have any more questions, you can just like contact the organizers of this. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Okay. I mean, yeah. Thanks for your time. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. All the best for your interview. Yep.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.